give and take principle. Maybe some of you know this gentleman. It is Mark Twain. And he called the give and take principle the principle of diplomacy. Give 1, take 10. So it's up to you if you consider that greedy or not, but doesn't it apply to business life? Well, certainly to men's, but does it apply to women too? We are going to hear more about that soon. I'm happy to present to you today the results of 2 surveys. The first one we conducted in the last couple of months among partners of leading recruiting companies, internationally respected headhunters who shared their insights on the differences between the networking behavior of men and women. In the second evaluation, we analyzed how is this reflected actually on the business network XING. But before I come to that, let me tell you the story of a good friend of mine. She was a member of the German management team in an American company. And every Friday, the men of the management team got together for a quite nice ritual. They played slot car racing. Probably some of you know, as your husband also has a slot car track at home, what that means. Anyways, my friend, she was really great at her job, but it did not take her a long time that she realized that the Monday meetings seemed to be decided in advance. Decisions had been made, alliances had been formed, and her opinion, her vote on the matter, in fact, it didn't matter anymore. My friend had neglected something crucial. The decisions were not made in the meeting on Monday. They were made at the slot car track on Friday evening. What happened at those informal get-togethers? The men of the management team had formed a network she was not invited to be part of. This is a typical example on how women approach networking in business. They underestimate how important well-concerted networking is to success in business. And that's not all. To my friend, it was not even clear that this network was a network. To her, it was all fun and games, boy stuff. And that's why I'm saying that it is not the nature of the event that matters. It is the interaction between the people that counts. Men use contacts for mutual advancement. They make and they maintain contacts because they know that their network is more important than their position in the company. Give and take. So, what are the hard facts? Why is networking important? Without a network, you miss out on opportunities to find a job. In my company, for example, all of us get together every Friday to learn what's going on throughout the companies, to see what the colleagues are doing in their teams and so on. And in one of those meetings, our CEO, Stefan, he asked everyone in the room to raise their hand who got hired via a contact or a recommendation. And guess what? 50% of the people in the room raised their hand. And I guess it would be the same if I do that test here with you. Jobs are found and filled via contacts. And also the US Bureau of Labor Statistics confirms that, as they have found out that more than 50% of all jobs are filled this way. But not only that, your employer will also be happier with you. A survey from JobWide found out that employers are actually happier with those employees they found through social networks or through contacts compared to those they hired via job boards. Without a network, you will miss out on promotions and pay raises. From a career standpoint of view, a network generates support and cooperation. Key information are shared with those in the networks, and loners who are not part of the network remain invisible to decision makers. And it's precisely these decision makers who have the responsibility for promotions and for pay raises. And the last point, without a network, you won't be able to compete with the established old boys club. It is no coincidence that women consider the dominance of all male networks to be the largest obstacle to their own career. And I came across a quite nice quote of a woman, her name is Kerstin André, she is a member of the German parliament, and she put it succinctly by saying, men look after their networks, women look after their relatives. Men set up career networks to support and promote each other. They are focused on people who can advance their own careers. They use connections to propagate an image of themselves and information about themselves. And of course, it is much more elegant to let someone else talk about the things you've done well. Networkers benefit in their career from the kudos given to them by their contacts. So please don't get me wrong. Of course, a network does not replace a solid performance, but it does extend the range of that performance, and with it, the people who see and appreciate the work you do. The fact of the matter is, we women are good at networking. We are experts on a private level. We have high demands on relationships. We have more intensive and more frequent contacts within our network. We women are known to call up our best girlfriend at least 3 times a week. We are known for organizing self-help groups and going for Pilates together. Well, is that true? For me, it is. I do that. I call up my best girlfriend 3 times and I feel my world falls apart if I don't do that. The question is just, do we tap contacts on a professional level? Do we link professional and personal life? And to me, it still seems that it's hard for us to ask our best girlfriend over dinner to introduce us to her boss or to someone else who might be important to our career. We were wondering why women don't take their rightful positions in business networks, why they don't put a slot car on the track. And if they do so, do they really participate in give and take? To some scientists, it seems to be even worse. Okay.
What is this?
I hope the respective person is in the room. Ooh. Let me get back to the scientist when the ghost is out. So, the feminist academic Mechthild Erpenbeck, she identified a phenomena which is characterized with a lack of loyalty among women in companies. According to her, successful women act against younger women. If women feel threatened, they block each other on the way to success and on the way to a position in management. This is networking flipped around, networking ad absurdum. No doubt, these ideas are controversial. So we thought, okay, let's ask people who know, people who make it their job to discover how companies and people interact. And as the German market leader in social recruiting, we are well connected to headhunters. So we conducted in-depth interviews with partners and CEOs of internationally respected recruiting companies, among them the top 5 in Germany. Well, we are all aware, headhunters are a discrete industry, so I won't tell you that Egon Zehnder, Rittig and Struggle and IFP were among of them, but you're familiar with that anyways. And even though they asked us to remain anonymous, we heard their voices. They shared their experiences about the differences between men and women and how they act during the application process. And as an aside, they use XING for searching candidates. To all of us, it is a familiar situation. The phone rings, a headhunter calls you and offers you a job. A job you're not really interested in. So you politely tell the gentleman or the lady that you won't take this opportunity, and you will be asked if you know someone who might be interested. And in this moment, it becomes clear. It becomes clear what a network is worth. Who is supporting whom? And before I start talking about how men and women give references, how each gender provides recommendation, I'd like to share a few interesting anecdotes our respondents told us when we asked them, has diversity made its way into the companies of your clients yet? How many of your clients ask for women on the shortlist? Here's what they said. 5 years ago, it was 2%. A year ago, it was 25%. This year, It's 80%. 3 out of 4 clients ask for us to have women on the shortlist. It's kind of a gender balancing thing for creating a positive corporate culture. Women are at the front of the pack right now because everyone wants to hire women. If a client were to insist on hiring a woman, I would raise my fee considerably. The chances of finding the right person are much lower. Some clients say, we only want to hire a woman. It's our time. So the answer is a clear yes. Not only do companies want to hire us, they also demand their service providers to shortlist women for jobs. And how about us women? Are we ready? Here's what the recruiter said. Women are considerably better prepared in interviews. Women don't strut around and show off like men do. Women are more clever. They're better at presenting themselves. Men are too focused on the goal and not interested in simply having a pleasant conversation with their recruiter. Women define themselves according to the task they perform. Men, according to their position. You know what? If you offer a man a 30% increase in salary, a lot of them will do anything for you. With women, that doesn't work. The answer is yes, we are ready. And to the last question, the crucial question, who supports whom? This is what the recruiters told us. 90% of recommendations are from men. Women often say, I can't think of anyone. Women recommend less frequently than men. They're more loyal to the company. Networking is complicated for women. The world of business is dominated by men. And as a result, women who network have to network with many men too. There's always an aftertaste here that you don't have when men network with men. Men are driven by the give and take principle. Women are much more reserved in acting as references. So the answer is no, we don't support each other. We don't use connections for mutual advancement. Personal statements are one thing, I admit. But what story do the figures tell? We took a look at the online behavior on XING, an international business network where members connect each other online on job-related matters, on business-related matters. They find new assignments, new jobs, new contacts. Approximately 1/3 of those members are female, only 1/3. And not only that, the women are not as well connected and not as active as the men are. Women on XING have fewer contacts and they connect with new contacts less frequently. So this does not mean that women are not attracted to online services. We heard it this morning. Marcel Reicher told us the figures about Facebook, and exactly that is the point. At Facebook, it is quite the opposite. Women are much more active on Facebook than men are. But Facebook is a private network where private content is shared. Let me sum up what we have heard. In private, we are stars. Companies are out to hire us. Recruiters testify that we are the more pleasant, the better prepared candidates. But we as women, we are clearly weaker networkers. We are not helping each other in a way men do. Give and take, ladies. Even the Romans had heard about it. Do ut des. I give so that you will give. It's a principle they applied to the gods, and they prepared sacrifices and were expecting something in return. It's a basic principle of human behavior, reciprocity. I give you an example. If I recommend someone for a job, it is very likely that she will return the favor in the future. The reciprocal gesture from my kind deed is not what I get out of it. It is much more that it deepens the relationship between two people. And professional relationships live from those kind of back and forth gestures. Professional relationships are as effective as they are because we feel a moral obligation to repay every gift, to repay every gesture. It's the same thing like Christmas. If you receive a gift at Christmas, it's very likely that you will return one the next year. So why don't we apply this sense of obligation at work? I know, changing human behavior is the most difficult challenge we are faced with, as we often do things where we know that they will hurt us in the long term. We don't give up our car. We don't give up our cigarettes. It hurts us, yes, but somehow we cannot. But I'm afraid that there's no other way. I hope that this presentation can contribute to pave the way for young women, so that we can take the hand and lead them to the slot car tracks, or whatever serves as a slot car track in your respective companies. Not only will it be easier for them in the future than it has been for us, we should also do it for another reason. If a recruiter calls you and asks you, can you recommend someone? You can say, yes, I can. Thank you very much.